Okay, so here we are with another NECA Back to the Future unboxing. This is the second one I've done for this channel. I did Marty McFly a while back, but here it is, November 5th. And of course, that was the day that Doc Brown slipped and hit his head and got the idea for the flux capacitor. So I figured today would be an appropriate day to open it up. Got a lot of cool stuff in here. There's a nice picture of Doc Brown operating the remote control to operate the DeLorean. Got the van behind him. Got a lot of cool pics here. Got Marty with his life preserver because he's afraid he's going to drown. And, you know, Doc with the clipboard. Doc with his 6-shooter holding his hands up. Got some cross-sell here. Got Marty McFly. Doc 1985, Doc Brown 1955, Biff Tannen 1955, Marty McFly 2015, and Griff Tannen 2015. And they've done a few more figures in this line since then, but to the best of my knowledge, still no Back to the Future. 3 figures. I want my Mad Dog Tannen. Come on, let's get that done. So, anywho, let's go ahead and open up. We might as well have a look at the sides here with the DeLorean. Says Ultimate Doc Brown hazmat suit. It's the same on the other side, and then you know the front of the box is made to look like the little locker he was carrying around the plutonium in. Little case. So let's go ahead and open it up and pull that blister out of there. And there's the background there. It looks like the DeLorean loaded up into the work van. About to roll that out. So that's pretty cool. And then got 2 different head sculpts for Doc Brown. One is a little more neutral expression, but still kind of crazed, like we expect Doc Brown. Doc Brown should always look like a little wide-eyed and crazed. That's just the character, unless he looks kind of smug. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. All right, so let's go ahead and get some of these accessories out of this package. And he comes with extra arms because, you know, in some scenes he has his sleeves rolled up, and in some scenes he has the sleeves all the way down, and these gloves. And it's NECA, so it's going to come with some extra hands. So this one's like a bit of a gripping hand with a little bit of a thumbs up. Kind of reminds me of the hands we see on Masters of the Universe. And then here's the trigger finger hand with the glove. So you can hold his 6-shooter. And then this one's, again, more of a gripping hand. So we look at the back here, we can see that he's got like a... I can't tell if that's the gripping hand or... Yeah, it's got to be the gripping hand. So I guess it must be kind of pliable, and it's supposed to wrap around it's still pretty rigid, but it's supposed to wrap around this clipboard, I think. Let's go ahead and get the clipboard out since I'm talking about it. It is pretty thin. I think it could fit in there, but you can see it's got a calculator and various pieces of paper. This one's kind of flapped out for a little bit. Set that aside, and then this little notepad. And if you look at the notepad, it's probably going to be kind of hard to see on the camera, but that is actually the Amblin Entertainment emblem with Elliot and E.T. riding the bicycle. That's what that is. And then we've got his revolver. Professor Plum came with the revolver. But I think it's funny that the gun that Doc Brown has does look kind of like a Wild West 6-shooter, because you know, Doc mentions later on that the Wild West was his favorite historical period. Though I don't believe they mention it in the first movie. They mention it in the second movie when they're setting up for the third movie, and then the remote control that he uses to drive the DeLorean around with Einstein in it. And we'll go ahead and get the smug Doc Brown head out. You know, I figured, what the hell? All right, so Yeah, if you want the really crazy Doc Brown heads, I think those come with like the other figures. And there are some rubber tabs on here that I forgot about. So let's go ahead and cut those and get those. Make sure we can get the figure out of here. Neca tries to warn you to make sure that you've got all these cut before you try to take the figure out. And like, they're the one company that specifically does that. And here I am trying to get him out without cutting the rubber tabs. And it looks like there's only two. Oh, well, there's only one around his torso. One double rubber tab around the torso, and then two double rubber tabs around each of his shins / ankles, however you want to look at that. And Doc Brown does not. Oh wait, is there? No, that's his hands are in the holes in the package. Doc Brown does not come with a hazmat helmet and hood and mask and all that like Marty does. He's got a wealth of other accessories, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. But he's got a lot of stuff that's like seems to be kind of permanently attached to him. Like, I don't think this is supposed to come off of his belt. This will probably like headphones, and I think this is like attached to the stopwatch and some kind of little device there. I was thinking maybe it was like a Walkman or something. And then he's got this work belt. And again, all this stuff, I don't think it actually is permanently attached to him, but I'm not going to take it off of him because it seems like I'd have to be really careful when I take it off of him. But yeah, I did think that on the back it showed him, yeah, on one of the pictures without this work belt on him. But you can see there's a lot of good details to this work belt and a lot of tools, which seem like they are not removable. They don't seem to be coming out for me anyway, but there's a good look at the tool kit on his work belt. But you can see there's like different shades of red to stuff. Like there's a different shade of red on these pliers than there is on the flashlight. The yellow kind of all looks the same shade, but yellow kind of blends together. This one's kind of more orange. But you know, it's nice that they put some effort into giving you different colors for the various tools. His suit looks a little more high water than Marty's does, and you can see some of his pants leg sticking out the bottom. And he's got brown sneakers with white soles. They actually look a lot like the sneakers on the Batman trick-or-treater there. So that's kind of cool. And then he's got like a kind of an off-white undershirt. Like you can see it being a white undershirt that's kind of dingy if you look at his forearms. On the camera, at least to me on the screen looking at it, it looks like it just looks like a long white sleeves. But trust me, this is more like a cream color here on the forearms. And his arms do come off. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and pull those arms out. And they're in there nice and firm. I actually accidentally pulled the hand off without even meaning to while I was trying to pull these arms out. But man, they're really in there. And pulled out that hand. And that's the hand that's like, is that going to come off at all? I don't think that comes off at all. So you see there's like this little teeny tiny wire that goes from his hand to whatever this is in his hand goes to his watch. Like he's got the wires kind of like he's nervously fidgeting with them. There, I got it out. So I think the trick to it is to kind of wiggle it back and forth as you pull it out. No jokes. Man, those are they did not want to make that easy for you. And I can see underneath, this is kind of strange. I can see underneath it looks as if they actually painted his torso. Like you can see like inside the sleeves, it looks white here. It's that same off-white color actually that the shirt sleeves underneath were colored. But it looks like there's actually like some Caucasian flesh color on the rib cage underneath, which I think is just strange that they bothered to paint that because it doesn't seem like this piece is removable at all. Oh yeah, he's got like a blue plaid button-up shirt underneath his hazmat suit, and then underneath that you can see that cream-colored long sleeve undershirt. So I'm gonna put the full hazmat sleeves on him. So I definitely want to have a look at those. Make sure we got those in there nice and snug. I want it to be just as difficult to pull these arms out of here as the previous ones. So it might be a good idea just if you're doing this at home to use a hairdryer or something and soften up the plastic just a little bit. And Bobby Wald is here, and he says, "Great Scott!" Of course. Yeah. Why are Scots so great in the past? Is it something to do with the Earth's gravitational pull? So on the back here, I'm looking at it, and yeah, he's got the gun. He holds the gun while he's wearing the gloves. So that's why, like I said before, we got that trigger finger. He's supposed to hold just the remote control in those regular ungloved kind of splayed open hands. And if I'd have known that, I'd have just put the remote control in his hands before I did that. But since I've already got these hands on him, let's see if he can hold it with the gloves on. And I think I can probably get it into his hands. It's just going to take a little bit of work. But like I said, on the box, it shows him holding this barehanded, which he probably holds it barehanded in the movie. I don't remember, but it's not like I spent a lot of time looking at Doc Brown's hands while I watched the movie. But yeah, he can hold it just fine. It looks just fine. So, and then got the clipboard. And like I said, the clipboard is kind of narrow, so I figure it is meant to go. This thumbs up hand should probably hold that perfectly. Yeah, just like that. See, it stays on there just nice. So he'll be able to hold that just fine. But I already swapped out the arms, so I probably should have done all the stuff I could have done with those arms before I swapped them out. But whatever. We're gonna put the trigger finger gun in it, or the trigger finger hand is, so I can put the gun in it. And there we go. There he is with the 6-shooter. Yeah, pretty cool. And then there's this notepad, so we can see him with the notepad. The notepad with where he's doodling pictures of E.T. on it. There he is with the notepad. And with the trigger finger on, he even makes it look kind of like he's kind of trying to hold down the top of it with his finger. So that's kind of cool. All right. So let's go ahead and pop off the head. I'm going to pop this one back on. Christopher Lloyd has probably been one of my favorite actors ever since I first saw Back to the Future, way back when it was a brand new movie. But it was not the first movie I saw him in. So I already had an appreciation for the guy. I'd seen him in Legend of the Lone Ranger. I'd seen him in Star Trek 3, where he played the Klingon commander. That's the villain in that movie. Kruge, I think is his name. And I'd seen him in, as I already mentioned before, Clue, where he played Professor Plum. So I was already a fan of the guy. But like Back to the Future made him from being an actor that I'd seen stuff and be like, oh, hey, it's the guy from Legend of the Lone Ranger, to, oh, it's Doc Brown. Guys, it's Doc Brown. And I get really excited then. But, the first thing that, probably got him any sort of recognition among the general public was he was on the sitcom Taxi, which, starred Judd Hirsch and Mary Lou Henner and Tony Danza and Andy Kaufman and Danny DeVito, great cast on that show. That's probably one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, actually. But he played Reverend Jim Ignatowski on that. And there's a funny story that Leonard Nimoy tells in the commentary for Star Trek 3 when he's talking to the studio about Suburban Commando, with Hulk Hogan. I remember that one. But he's talking. Actually, the funny thing is, when they first wrote that script, they were trying to write that script as another vehicle for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito to work together. So that part was originally written for Danny DeVito, who he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They were in that together also. So because Christopher Lloyd was in that, right? I'm pretty sure he was in that. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah. So they worked together a few times, I guess. But they're both great actors. Anyway, so Leonard Nimoy wanted to cast Christopher Lloyd to play the villain in Star Trek 3. And the studio was like, well, everybody's going to see him, and they're just going to think of Reverend Jim. And Leonard Nimoy says, don't you talk to me about typecasting. I'm the last person that anybody needs to talk to about typecasting. So the studio's like, okay, Leonard, we'll do whatever you want. We'll cast Reverend Jim as the bad guy. Everybody's gonna laugh at him. No, but he was awesome. He was awesome in that. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd's one of those. He's a great actor. He can play anything. He can do comedy. He can do drama. He can be a serious, scary villain like he was in Star Trek 3 or Legend of the Lone Ranger, which, not the best movie in the world, but he's awesome in it. And that's what I say is like the true test of an actor. If you can be acting in absolute crap and still manage to give a great performance, still manage to give 110%, Peter Cushing could do it. Christopher Lee could do it. Christopher Lloyd could do it. That's a great actor right there. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about articulation. So Doc Brown can look up quite a bit. That's pretty good. Look down, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. And of course, I wound up getting that wire tangled up in it. So be careful of that, kids. Yeah, it got caught up underneath the neck post. I don't want that to happen. So be careful when you turn his head around. That's all I'm saying. All right, head's back on now. All right, so the arms, of course, rotate all the way around at the sides, and they can raise up to the sides about that far. He's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends in about that far, rotates all the way around. It's at a slight angle. Of course, the wrists rotate all the way around, and they all seem to have a horizontal hinge to it, so they move back and forth like that. Doc Brown does have some torso articulation underneath, but he's got like this whole rubber hazmat suit thing that is not removable. So you're not going to be able to get too much articulation out of it, but they did actually put a joint in there for whatever that's worth. Doc Brown can kick up about that far. He can do the splits, no problem. Bet you didn't know he'd be this limber, but here we go. All right. And Doc Brown can bend at the knee almost 90 degrees, but not quite. He is wearing that bulky hazmat suit after all. And then the leg, very stiff, but it does rotate all the way around. And then the ankles rotate all the way around, and they point down about that far and point up about that far. So really good articulation on this figure. Not the best we've ever seen on this channel, obviously, but still pretty good. I think that this is probably like the best articulation you could ask for from a character like Doc Brown, who, like I said, he's not like a ninja or anything like that. I am going to go ahead and swap out the arms because I just dropped something. Something just fell off of him. It was his hand. His hand fell out of his other arm. Whatever. I'll pick that up later. I'm going to get the arms out first. And then we'll take a look, see if I can see where it fell. I found it. It's all good. I still haven't found that armor that fell off the shredder the other day, though. Good thing I bought more than one of those, isn't it? All right, so I'm guessing that this is... Okay, so this piece is supposed to come off of his fingers. The open hand, you can get that piece off of his fingers. So that's good, because I'm pretty sure this wristwatch and the wire are permanently attached there. So we'll go ahead and put the rolled up sleeve arms back in there. And then we can have a look at him holding some of those accessories that I neglected before. And I have no idea what you're supposed to do with this thing when this hand's not on here, because it looks like to me like the gripping hand. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the wires back on there. It doesn't look like that he's got the wires on there in some of these other pictures on here, but it does kind of just hang off of his forearm in kind of an awkward way. Like if it had an actual like bendy wire in it so that I could bend it down, that would be one thing. Where did I put that other open hand? There it is. Okay. Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's what you're actually supposed to have him hold that remote control with. And it's not going to grip it too tightly. But we should be able to get him to hold it in a somewhat realistic manner. I guess I'll put those loops back on his fingers for now. Just because I got no idea what else to do with them. I'm going to have to watch the movie again, which, no big deal. watch this movie all the time. It's one of my favorite movies. I won't mind watching it again. But next time I watch the movie, I'm going to have to pay attention to his hands in this scene and see what he does with that wire and all that stuff. So let's see. I'm going to put his hands together a little bit closer than what it would take to hold this. So that way when I put this in there, it'll kind of pinch a little bit. So yeah, there he is holding the remote control device. Bobby Wald says, this should have included a real sample of plutonium with him to make it more realistic. Well, I'm sure, in 1985, you can just pick up plutonium at any corner store. But in 1955, it's a little harder to come by. All right. So now I've had him holding the remote control. So that's been satiated. Let's see him holding some of these other accessories. And I suppose you could put the bare hands on the gloved arms and the gloved hands on the rolled up sleeve arms. I don't think it's impossible, but it would look kind of funny, I think. I'll put this clipboard in his hand. Put that one on there. And then so this might be a little. Am I able to rotate that at all? Because it seems like to me like the watch is just kind of like sculpted in there. And then this thing is just kind of pegged in there. So I don't know. It seems to me like the fingers are kind of really close together on this one. So I don't think you could get the wires around his fingers the same way. But we can put that notepad in his hand. Let's see how that looks when he's holding that. I got him in the wrong way. So there he is with the notepad and the clipboard. And he's in full scientist mode. But yeah, great figure, great looking figure. The likeness of Christopher Lloyd is excellent. You can't mistake that for anybody else. A lot of good accessories, got all the different hands and all the couple of different arms and, different heads. And it's the kind of stuff you expect from NECA where I love figures that have a lot of display options. And this figure certainly has that. So anyway, there we go. November 5th is significant for a lot of reasons. Of course, it's Guy Fawkes Day over in the UK. And for those of us here in the United States, that's V for Vendetta Day. From that. That's what we know it for. But yeah, but it's the perfect day to open up this guy since it's the day that he invented time travel in the first place. So, and he's probably my favorite character from the Back to the Future movies. Yeah, Marty McFly's cool and everybody loves Marty McFly, but I always like Doc Brown. I think maybe a little bit like a lot of kids, I kind of imagine myself in the role of Marty McFly and what I would do if I actually went back in time and met my parents, when they were my age and that sort of thing. And I think part of me kind of wanted to have that sort of older, brilliant scientific mentor figure like Doc Brown was. I always just thought he was really cool. And I think that's part of why I like Back to the Future 3 as much as I do, is because that's the one that I kind of feel like that one's the one that's really Doc Brown's story. And Marty's there to help Doc out in that story. But rather than Doc being there to help out Marty, the positions are kind of reversed a little bit. So, and like I mentioned before, I kind of feel like that one's more complete and its own story than Back to the Future 2, which is why I actually like that one better than Back to the Future 2. And I'm not trying to badmouth Back to the Future 2, which I think is a great movie also. But I personally like Back to the Future 3 just a little bit more. And I realize I'm in the extreme minority as far as that goes. But, the heart wants what the heart wants, and I love what I love. And anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. I was planning on, like I said, opening up the Casey Jones figure on this episode. but I realized, oh crap, it's November 5th. It snuck up on me, so I got to do it. So Casey Jones, I promise, will be the next episode. We're going to open up Casey Jones and his dirt bike. It turned out that my mother had never seen the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie before, and so I made her watch it. And we actually, like, not when I bought this, because I already had this. I'd had this for a while, but when my mom was at Walmart with me, we found another one that was marked down, and she saw it, and she's like, "That's not a Ninja Turtle." And I'm like, "Mom, that's Casey Jones. He's their friend. He helps them out." And she's like, "Oh, I guess I never saw the first movie." So I made her watch the first movie, and I think she enjoyed it, but or at least did a good job of pretending like she enjoyed it. But anyway, that'll be the next episode. Like I said, I was planning on doing it on this episode, but logistics have been kind of weird, and it just happened that November 5th fell today. So I'm like, I gotta open up Doc Brown. I gotta get that one open today. So I can open up Casey Jones on November 6th or 7th or 8th or whatever, and God knows I've had that figure for long enough that I haven't opened it up. So yeah, we'll go ahead and open up Doc Brown today, and then move on to Casey Jones tomorrow. So my Ninja Turtles figures are a little broken up because of that, but that's okay. It's all good. Where did I put the blister for this? Because I want to put all the stuff back in there. So I'm going to put the arms. I'll just put the arms and the head in where the body goes, and put all the small stuff in where the head goes. And I think that'll be the easiest way to keep all that together. And I'm going to keep that box because I usually keep the NECA boxes, because I kind of feel like the NECA boxes are works of art on their own. And if you can see over here on the wall, I've actually got all my Universal Monsters hanging up over on the wall. All my Universal Monsters boxes hanging up on the wall over here. Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Invisible Man, the Wolfman, and Creature from the Black Lagoon, with hopefully more to come very soon. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Doc Brown, both this figure and the character in general. And we will talk to you next time. But make sure that you like and subscribe, because YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe. So I like to say like and subscribe. And make sure you leave a comment, because I like it when you leave comments. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.